how to make your own lead magnet app. An app that can then be applied to all your Django websites. The lead magnet is usually used to harvest emails for potential customers to your app. This function can already be bought as a service, but this is all about do-it-yourself. How to make your own. In your website, when a form that contains an email is sent, it will take in the email and send out an email containing a link to an asset. When you read the email, you can click on the link and retain the asset. The asset might be, for instance, a PDF. That is what we will use in this example. We will implement this as a Django app. This makes it possible to reuse this app in all other Django projects that you're working on. Let's get into it. In this window, I've entered the Python environment for this web app. To create a new web app, we just type Python manage startup and leadmag, where startup is the command for creating a new app in Django, and leadmag is just what I choose to call this new app. Now let's look what Django has created for us. And then it's time to hook up this new app into the entire project. To register the app, we need to define it in the project settings. We put the name leadmag inside the list of installed apps. Secondly, we need to route the web traffic from the web app into the leadmag application. So we open the url.py for the project. Here we forward the traffic starting with leadmag into a url.py that is contained in the leadmag app. And by that, we are hooked into the project and finished with the project. Inside the new model leadmag, we will start up with creating the model. If you want more information about the MTV code pattern used in Django, look more in this video. So let's open up model.py. First, we will need some imports. Then we'll do a class magnet. That one will contain email, a name string, and an active, not active boolean. I would also like to put in a 4th time date stamp when this data was entered. I also create a new class called magnet form. This form is responsible for displaying all this data from the database to the web form in the web page. In this class, you can see that I keep the date and time to ourselves. I don't display that to any user. So this class, it populates the form of the HTML, and it does this at render of this web page. It also takes care of any update of the data from the form and put all the new values back into the database. And that is the basis for what's needed in the model. It is time for the visuals of templates. To speed this up, where I'm reusing an existing template that I already have and then adapt it exactly to this app. We save this as leadmagnet.html. This template starts off by importing base.html. This is a generic thing used in the entire project. It basically only imports the CSS file that is used for styling, and I will keep that one as the rest of this project. Another thing to note about base is that the block page content is where our lead mag template will be filled in. We will further adjust the text of this one in a later stage. But now we have everything we need from this one, so it's time to go on to the view. Opening up the view.py and starting with a copy from an older project, I realized that we also need a serializer. So let's create a class model serializer. That one is used between the model and the form of the template. Then let's go back to the view, and I'm reusing an already existing render function. In the template we call this button magn, so that is what we're going to call this rendering function as well. This render function is called both when the page is first initiated and also when someone presses a button. As we can see, this function has two paths. One for the get function and one for the post function. Is read by a browser for the first time, and the post function is used by the button. So when someone presses the button, we will start by validating the sent data. We store it if it is okay, and then redirect the user to a thank you page. If the data is not okay, we return the form with some error messages and let the user try again. The other path is for the get function, and that one is just used to initialize the first read from the browser. And that was the view. It is time to start up the server now and see what it looks like. Smashing, don't you think? We have one text card selling the action of actually giving up the email for this lead magnet, a PDF. And the second card is the actual form that takes all our data and stores it in our database. Now notice the checkbox that authorizes the use of the email. This is to handle GDPR in Europe. Now entering an email, checking the checkbox and pressing Get Copy actually does redirect us to a new thank you page. And that is the receipt we need to see that everything works as it should. Now it's time to start iterating on this code. First up, Django is using the variable names as labels in the form. I want to set my own labels used for the form. Also for the name field has a default size, and I want to shrink it down and set the limitation on the number of characters possible to give in here. And thirdly, I want to give some more information about the approval, some lead text and help text. Now, sending emails. To reduce the size of this video, I've put send of emails in its own video. That one will show up here when it's published. Until then, we will just do a printout in the log instead of actually sending an email. So let's do a test of these improvements. We enter a new email, check the checkbox, and press the Get Copy. And then we take a look at the log printouts, and here it is, the Send Email printout. So how do we serve this PDF? That is the actual lead magnet. The easiest way to do this, that we will do in this video, is just to serve a link to where it is situated. This will be a static link. Where you keep your media files in your project is defined in the settings.py of this project. I have mine set to media/static/filename. And here we have an example of where I put a PDF file just stored together with some images I've used elsewhere in this project. Some static files together. So, if we run the server, we can test downloading this PDF using the static link. Let's try it. And it works. Another limitation that we will do in this video is how the asset is going to be delivered. In this video we will only use a direct link. I don't really recommend that you do that in an application. There you want to use a personalized and time-limited link, and that will be its own video. Same thing here. I hope to post that as in a card as soon as it is available. You might want to translate this personalized link into a QR code, and we will look at that as well in the next video. So for the time being, we're going to use a direct link to the PDF. But let's stop here for this video. So what are our current status? Well, we have a database full of emails by now, but how do we use them? I don't want to put that in this video either, to keep it short, but we have some ideas. You can extract them just as an email list and put them into Google Sheets, for instance, and use a Google script just to parse them and send your emails that way. Another idea is just to extend this application to also be able to send mails to the entire active email list. But this should also only be available to an administrative user. That is, you. So comment below if you would like to see a video done on that. Another missing feature right now is how to unsubscribe from the send list. It should be handled somehow. For now it is done manually. You have to go in and set the unwanted emails to not wanted, or remove them from the database. But after that, we just have to polish the selling texts to get people to actually submit their emails. And of course, we need to come up with a good asset that people want. And then all we have to do is to deploy this function to our website. If you like this one, do give it a thumbs up so that others may find it equally helpful. I'm also thinking about doing a live about lead magnets and harvesting emails for sales. What do you think about that? A bigger discussion about the subject. Would you be in? I think you will be interested in the 2 following videos I will make. The one about the personalized links and the other one about sending emails from the web app. So, see you on the next one.